Welcome everybody to the MiniMapCast. This is minimap.com.au's weekly games podcast, your favorite weekly games podcast. My name, as usual, is Kerry Palmer, and joining me, as always, is Jeremy Braditich.
As usual, hello, Kerry.
As opposed to as always, because I missed a couple.
Yeah. Oh, I see. I thought you were saying, as usual, my name is Kerry, not as in like, occasionally it is not, but like usually it is.
Yeah, that's very funny. No. It was like how I like subconsciously didn't say, as always, here's Jeremy.
Yeah.
After there was that one episode
just
where
a single
I did it with
episode
just
I
you.
wasn't on. Yeah.
Yeah. Which was incredibly rude. I feel in retrospect.
It's not a big deal at all. What was funnier was that then after you were out for 2 weeks, I then messaged you saying, I've now overtaken you on how many minimap casts I've been on, because I was down on one, but then you missed two, so then I caught up and overtook.
Now you just need to get sick at PAX and we'll be caught up again.
Nah, I won't.
I mean, how many PAXs have you been? Oh, it was just back last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, only one PAX, but I've been to 5 conventions now, 4 or 5 conventions.
God, since COVID.
Yeah.
5. Wow.
Some of the ones that like I didn't like I went to like a tattoo convention once just because some people I knew were going, and I just tagged along.
You thought you might be inspiration for someone while you were there.
Well, like I almost got a tattoo while I was there, but I just didn't.
Oh, what was it? It was like a little Millennium Falcon, right?
Yeah. I liked the front of it, and I didn't like the back of it, and I was like, that's a shame, because it just if I don't like half of it, then I'm not going to get it.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah,
it's always that thing too of like, you know, the shapes, the pictures get drawn on the paper or like stencil for the tattoo, and then it goes on like your arm, and then to look at it, you got to be like, or like maybe it's just like there and it's like a different, or you get it to look like that and then it's upside down to everyone else, or it has to bend across like your forearm or something, so then it's like it like warps a bit. You gotta like, it's like lenticular almost.
kind of. I mean, like
the right perspective.
This was not very big. This was like this big, so it would have been fine. But also, like tattoo artists, they can kind of account for that in a way.
Yeah. Oh, I should hope so. Definitely.
Yeah.
We were recording a little late this week, because you were out of commission on Monday.
Yeah,
a headache.
This will just go up on Wednesday. For everybody, for everyone. You just get it.
It is Wednesday, right?
Today, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is Wednesday today.
Yesterday was the most Friday Tuesday I've ever had, and today was the most Friday Wednesday I've ever had.
Oh, you're gonna fucking lose your mind in 2 days.
When I get to Friday, it's gonna be wild, especially by the end of it.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna be ready. So we're recording a little late, but we're here. We're probably gonna do a bit of a shorter episode today. But that's fine, because we do still have plenty to say about Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. So Jeremy's played, he's up to the very final encounter on his first playthrough. I got to the end of chapter 1. I beat the final boss that everyone's been talking about of chapter 1, Balteus.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, you got the physical edition. You got the launch edition too.
Yeah, it was like I can get the launch.
I think it's the only one they're selling.
Well, like I could get the launch edition now, or I can get the non-launch edition in a week, and I was like, that one.
Yeah. Jeremy, I was at, okay, this is a, let me do the intro, and then I'll talk about how I purchased the game last weekend, because it was last Friday, because it was pretty funny. So everyone, if you're not familiar, this is the MiniMapCast, minimap.com.au's weekly games podcast. We come to you with reviews like this week, well, pseudo review, impressions and topics and weird tier lists about Smash Brothers characters. That was last week. That was good fun.
Yeah.
We go live on all podcast platforms every Wednesday, usually. We should be up tonight. We'll see. With 24 hours
every Monday,
access.
every Monday, Kerry. Every Monday. Today is Wednesday. Every Monday.
The MiniMapCast goes live on all podcast platforms every Wednesday.
I wasn't listening. I'm just going to shut up. I'm just going to mute my mic.
I even totally read the script.
You read what I wrote. Back to me. Can't argue with that.
Anyway, 24 hours of early access to patrons. More on that in just a second. If you like what you're hearing, make sure to tell your friends. Give the show a positive rating. everyone, the day has come. We have to say farewell to Stitcher. Farewell, Stitcher.
I got the email the other day saying that by the 24 hours from this email, like Stitcher will be discontinued in the service, and it was very funny to read.
Yep. So yeah, give us a positive rating wherever you listen to us or watch us. It makes a huge difference. If you want to get notified every time a new episode is released, you can head on over to our social media. We are at MiniMapAU on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and also Twitch, where we are live almost every Monday. It's currently Wednesday, but it's the same time, 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time for the live recording of the MiniMapCast. We get to hang out with chat before and during and after. It's a really fun time. We wanted to say thank you to Shook for letting us use the Moog Model D Improv as the music for the MiniMapCast. You can listen to more of Shook's music at shook.bandcamp.com. And finally, MiniMap is completely independent and funded almost entirely out of our own pockets. So if you'd like to help us keep the mics and lights on, or if you want to support us, you can do that by becoming one of our patrons. For only $5 a month, you get 24 hours of early access for all episodes of the MiniMapCast, some extra little bonus features we're cooking up, we just released this week those E3 watch-alongs. And that's a good point to mention as well. We've released one for free up on the YouTube if you want to see what that's all about. It's us watching through the 2009 PlayStation E3 press conference. The audio balance is a little off, but it's still pretty good. There's subtitles there. You can hear most of it. You can hear us. It is good fun. So if you want to see what that's about, there's a free one up there. Anyone can go watch that on our YouTube. And if you want more, there's 2 more on the Patreon, and there will be more going up in the future. So yeah, that's patreon.com/minimapau to go help us out, to go find those extra videos, to go find the post shows. And remember, it's cheaper than a latte with oat milk.
Yes, it is.
So, Jeremy, on Friday, so the game came out, Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon.
Killer name,
Trademark.
by the way. Like, just absolute fucking baller name.
It's outrageous. It's so good. I mean, we knew that from the second they announced it.
Yeah.
But it has become no less true in the intervening time since.
Truly understanding what the Fires and what Rubicon is now. It's like, whoa.
Seeing it sometimes too is like, it's like a visual phenomenon.
Yeah.
Like the way they've designed some of these moments, these cutscenes. It's absolutely striking. But it gets to Friday and I'm doing my work. I'm like, okay, day's over. I'm going to go. Well, I didn't finish my work, actually. I meant to. But it's like time to go to the shops, buy this game, get some groceries, maybe get some dinner. And I did all of those things, except the game did not look like I was going to, because when I went to our old work and I was like, oh, hey, what's up? Haven't seen you in a while. It's good. Oh, you're closing now. That's interesting. Cool. Hey, I'd like to get Armored Core, please. And they were like, I don't think I can sell you that. I think we're out. I'm like, what do you mean? And they looked and they're like, yeah, no, we're done. I'm like, wow. And I was like, how many did you get? They said like 5.
5?
5. And apparently 3 of them were like for pre-orders.
Yeah, right.
So I was stunned.
Yeah.
I could not believe that they only got that many. And so I was like, oh crap, okay, well, I guess I'll go to the other nearby store that also sells video games and see what they've got. But usually it's like if one's out, so's the other. That's how it works there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I go straight to the front desk. I'm like, hey, can I get Armored Core? They look around. They're like, there might be more in the back. Give me a sec. They go. It takes a little while. They come back. They're still looking around. They're like, our game guy's not here. And then they look at the like counter behind them, and there's just like one sitting there.
Right.
And they're like,
there you go.
Here we go. And they start plugging it in and and they start talking to the coworker like, oh, do you know about this? If this is anyone's, like, oh, we should like print out a receipt and write someone's name on it if it's on hold or something. And I'm like, well, I'm going to take this and I'm going to leave immediately. Thank you.
Yep.
They're like, yeah, you escape now. That's fine.
I'll let you handle that after I'm gone.
Yeah, I literally said, I'm going to take this and I'm going to skedaddle. Thank you.
That sounds like a you problem.
Oh yeah, it was very chill. They were like, huh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Anyway, here you go. Like they decided.
Yeah.
They didn't include me as part of the process, which is good because it was very much a them problem and not mine.
Yeah.
I was low key wondering if like maybe one of the staff had put that there. It was like the last one, and they put it there to like Maybe they were clocking off in like 20 minutes and they were just going to buy it as they were leaving.
Maybe you got there's processes for that. You got to follow
Yeah, you put your name on it, put it on your bag or something.
Yeah.
You gotta put your seal on it. It's a nice launch edition though. It's got a paper poster of that really gorgeous key art.
Yeah.
It's got what are those 3 like sort of postcard things?
Yeah, little art cards, a couple of stickers and the game and a cardboard slipcover.
Sleeve.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool.
And for just normal price of game.
Yeah,
it's just launch edition.
I wasn't expecting it. Because I usually don't get like launch editions because they're usually like a little bit more. Like usually like not much more, like $5 more, but it's like
it's like completely forgettable. Like don't even like like EB when they launched with Last of Us Part 2, their launch edition was like, oh, it comes with a reversible slip. It's like
or the there was a luggage tag for a game that came out somewhat recently. I don't remember what it was.
That was the pre-order bonus for Tears of the Kingdom. That was their EB exclusive. They had by far the worst pre-order exclusive.
Yeah. Anyway.
Take me to Japan. I want to pre-order and get the spoon.
So, Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon. Neither of us have played an Armored Core before.
Never.
Not
once.
I've had like in between passing and Wikipedia interests in Armored Core where I'm like there's this gap in my personal knowledge of the FromSoft portfolio. And I remember like as someone who's never played Armored Core, I've been saying I hope they return to Armored Core for quite a while, only because I just wanted to know what that would have been like if they went back to it.
And like it had been long enough that like the most modern versions already kind of felt outdated.
Kinda like they're on PS3, like they're not like ancient, but they're
a little like archaic in their own way. Like it's like an ancient. Like I watched Vati's like breakdown of all of the Armored Core games because he hadn't played them either.
Right.
So then he played every single one of them in the lead up to 6 and made a 90-minute video about it.
Oh yeah.
And looking at those PS3 games,
I wish that were me.
Looking at those PS3 games, like they're cool and they are interesting, but they're brown and they're still direct descendants of those ancient Armored Core games where they didn't use the right stick at all. You know, like they've got very specific control styles. They're not at all colorful. They seemed quite hard to get into, even in the more modern era.
Do you know much about the lineage of the story of Armored Core?
So I watched that video,
right? And
they point out various. He points out various call signs that get like brought up and that come back. There's like the 9-ball, which is like it's a call sign for this like secret boss in the first game who was like absolutely unfair.
Right.
And you've got to get through a like 20-minute really brutal level to get there. With like platforming on the PS1 with no camera control. There's also, I know there's either boss that you fight or a character that you play as called Last Raven or something like that.
Right.
Which is interesting because in this game you play as an operator who picks up the call sign of Raven from an expired Armored Core.
Right. Okay.
That's what I know.
So I'm gonna well, so I was going through the Wikipedia page of all the games as I was, because I was curious about, like am I gonna know anything? Like, am I gonna know nothing going into this game? So like I'd like a quick squiz. Firstly, I'm just gonna say, like, you don't need to play any of them. You can just play this and have a great time, which is great. I'm glad they did that. I'm also glad they made it number 6, because that's hilarious. Even though you don't need to play 1 through 5, kind of like Final Fantasy.
Especially because this is a game. I mean, we will bring it up. We'll talk about in the Discord how this is the 6th one, and how Kingdom Hearts. There's only 3 Kingdom Hearts. There isn't. There's 2, 5, 6 over 2 and whatever.
There's only 16 Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many. There's like actually like 18 Armored Core games. There's like 4 Answer and
so
the Arena was one and.
There are exactly 13 games.
13.
13 games. I'm going to just quickly read you the first or less of the sentence. Read you nearly all of the first sentence of all of their Wikipedia pages, because I went through this and found it fucking hilarious.
So strange.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
most of the first sentence.
Yeah, only because like the first sentence is usually quite long, so I'm just gonna like truncate just the bit that I want to show you as I'm going.
I thought you were gonna be like, everything was quiet until the.
No. So Armored Core 1997 third-person shooter. That's fine. Armored Core Project Phantasma third-person shooter. Second entry in the Armored Core series and a sequel to the original Armored Core. That's fine. Armored Core Master of Arena. It is the third entry in the Armored Core series and a direct sequel to Armored Core Project Phantasma. It is the final game in the original Armored Core trilogy.
Uh-huh.
All right. Armored Core 2. It is the fourth entry in the Armored Core series and an indirect sequel to Armored Core Master of Arena. Okay. Armored Core 2 Another Age. It is the fifth entry into the Armored Core series and a direct sequel to Armored Core 2. A reboot of the series. Being Armored Core 3. The sixth entry in the Armored Core series, Armored Core 3 acts as a reboot of the franchise and begins a storyline that would continue. Armored Core 3 Silent Line is the seventh entry in the Armored Core series and a direct sequel to Armored Core 3. Fair enough. Armored Core Nexus is the eighth entry into the Armored Core series and a sequel to Armored Core 3 Silent Line. Mm-hmm. Unlike Silent Line, Nexus is not an expansion but rather a full-fledged sequel. Armored Core Ninebreaker is the ninth entry in the Armored Core series and a spin-off to Armored Core Nexus. Okay, we're back with parity of 9 numbers. Mm-hmm. You know, that's all fine. Armored Core...
like how Final Fantasy, you know, they didn't release 1, 2, and 3 in the West, and then 4, 5, and 6 became 1, 2, and 3, and then with 7 they just like unified it, and so the West went 1, 2, 3, 7.
Armored Core Formula Front is the 10th installment of the Armored Core series. There's seems to be not related to any of the others according to the two sentences of Wikipedia.
Okay.
Armored Core Last Raven is the 11th entry in the Armored Core series, a direct sequel to 2004's Armored Core Nexus. Okay, so they went back and made a sequel to the one previously to the one that just came out.
Yeah. A second sequel.
Yeah. Armored Core 4 is the 12th installment and the fourth main installment in the mecha-based Armored Core series. The game serves as a reboot for the franchise. So this is the third reboot. Armored Core for Answer, not FOUR, but FOR, Answer, is the 13th installment of the mecha-based Armored Core series. The game is a direct sequel to Armored Core 4. Armored Core 5 is the main installment of Armored Core series and a return to the more traditional style of gameplay.
Number 14.
Yeah, I guess. What? Maybe
because you said For Answer was 13.
Yes, sorry. Armored Core Verdict Day. I guess I was wrong with the number. The Wikipedia page for Armored Core hasn't been updated to how many installments there are. Armored Core Verdict Day is the 15th installment of the Armored Core series and a direct sequel to Armored Core 5.
Okay.
Armored Core 6 is the first entry in the Armored Core series since Armored Core Verdict Day and is the 16th entry in the series.
Yep.
And there you go. And it neither serves as a reboot nor doesn't serve as a reboot because it kind of exists.
I kind of like that. Well, this game, it's called Fires of Rubicon. It seems to be almost entirely focused on this planet, Rubicon.
Yeah, it seems very, very self-contained.
Which is like
cool.
Really cool. That's a great way to make it work. And like, it has me asking interesting questions. The start of the game is your core, the pilot, being sent into Rubicon on like a spaceship. And that spaceship looks like kind of like an old school, like rocket ship, you know, like a long kind of needle shaped ship with thrusters. And then it like breaks up on re-entry. They jettison the fuel pods. They launch the Armored Core out of it. Everything explodes above you. And then that's how the Armored Core gets to Rubicon. And then you have to find like a base of operations when you're there. And like operate remotely. And it becomes about this like working this area and the geopolitical tensions and all of that of this particular planet.
Yeah.
It's really neat.
It is really neat
in terms of like sci-fi lore.
Yeah, like it is fucking chock full of all of that stuff. Like the game being set on this planet where the locals seemingly don't exist anymore. And there's this resource
because the planet's been ravaged by the coral flares or whatever they called it. What was the
there was the fire of Ibis.
Yes.
The fires of Ibis. So there's a resource on this planet called coral, and it is this. I don't know what stage of matter it is. It is kind of like
gas.
Yeah, but it's not even gas, because gas is tangible in a way. Like it's just kind of its own fourth stage.
You know what it reminded me most of when I got to that final chapter 1 mission and you're in that area and there's that coral surge. It reminds me mostly of like something I know very little of, which is like the live stream from Final Fantasy VII. It's like, it's
right.
not Marco. It's like the life force of the planet, you know?
What it reminded me of was the fucking ghost matter from Outer Wilds.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's like an ore and it leaves like an ethereal haze.
Yeah. But yeah, this material is can be used for energy. And then at some stage during everybody rushing towards this energy source that is able to be consumed for an extraordinary amount of energy that could put humanity centuries in the future. It ignited because all of the humans, all the corporations, they were all greedy and didn't take proper care. And it like they describe it as like lighting the galaxy on fire, where like it just burned for like I don't know for how long, like an age or something. But
you get there and there's all these like industrial cities and complexes.
Yeah.
And they're completely abandoned except for other corporations who are there with their mechanized war machines.
Yeah.
Trying to claim whatever resource it is that they're trying to claim in that area.
Yeah. It's a really cool place to set a game because you are this like free rogue, well, like not free. You are just this rogue merc who has got a handler named Walter. Walter. And Walter. And he's got his own agenda. But you're sort of there and you nick a call sign and just sort of like join in the middle and start taking some jobs to sort of get your name out there a little bit.
Which from what I know is quite a standard Armored Core setup.
Yeah. And you're sort of playing all sides because you're just a merc and that's how mercs operate in this. But like the part of the world building and stuff and all the lore that I really, really appreciated was there's a lot of characters that sort of come and go as you take jobs for different people, different corporations, and you'll have someone giving you the briefing and you might have like an ally in the level, or you might have an ally like chatting to you while you're talking, or maybe in a fourth person who does the debrief or whatever. And a lot of these named and voiced characters, you don't see like people in this game. You never see a person. It's always just another AC, which for those who don't know, AC stands for Armored Core, which took me just a hot minute of the game to actually put together. Because that's
fair enough, because they don't explain what like MTs are and all of that other stuff.
There's a handful of acronyms that I'm in the final mission and I still don't know.
But yes, AC is Armored Core.
AC is Armored Core, which are the names of the mechs.
Which are like they're kind of the most powerful thing you can come across is an AC.
Yeah.
Like they're the things that are being piloted by like augmented humans. Occasionally there's like larger machinery I've seen or larger heavy infantry, not infantry, but unarmed robots that are intense, but they're not armored cores. They're different challenges.
They're all like, they're kind of like the equivalent of a super soldier, but it's like an augmented person inside of like a mech suit.
Yeah.
And so like you meet a bunch of these named people and they've all got call signs and they've all got their own suits, but you don't immediately sort of place them because you get quite a lot of them quite quickly.
And you're also working for a lot of corporations really quickly too.
Yeah,
So you're like,
a lot of
this,
names and logos.
when did I fight with you? That was with yeah.
And they're all snarky and in their own way, or they're all a bit cocky because they're all pilots, right? And you, as you get a little bit further in the game, you unlock a thing called the arena, which is a I've got a point to make at the end of this, Kerry, which you're going to find really fucking funny. You've got this, it's like a competitive ranking thing for fighting against other characters in the game that are tiered and ranked according to this, like just outside mercenary ranking, like software thing.
Program thing, yeah. It's like, it's like a mercenary program.
Yeah.
All mind.
Yeah. And so you go in there and the entire game mode is one-on-one fights. But they also give you like a fucking Dark Souls ass item description for each one of these fights. So you can find out a lot about each of these individual people. You start to, as you get further and further and you start to do more of the different Vipers or some of the different enemies from like some of the other corporations, and you start to like piece them together, you realize that some of the mechs, they have like design traits that some of the corporations will follow through. And then one of the corporations might have a specific style of mech with like, you know, backwards bent legs, or they're really, really like big and bulky and they've got huge guns, or some of them really into missiles, or some of them really into like electricity weapons. That is a really great way to like, one, expand upon the different, like the quite large cast of the game, but also allows everything to sort of fit better without you having to meet all of these characters in all of these missions and meet them enough times that you start to really understand who they are. They allow you to give this entire game mode dedicated to basically understanding who the different players, who the different chessboard pieces are. And as you get further and further through, because as the game progresses, you get higher and higher rank fights available to you. You start to meet a lot of the big names, and you can see their mechs and be like, wow, like this mech is like really high tech compared to some of their other ones, or this mech is actually really not that high tech. And it turns out the top of this company is just a really fucking good pilot and doesn't need the flashiest mech in the world. It all works together so well. The world building in nearly all FromSoft games is wonderful, but like this is so cool to see, especially because a lot of it is much harder to miss than in like a Dark Souls or like an Elden Ring.
Yeah. It is a bit more explicit, you know, you get mission briefings and like debriefings each time. Now you don't always get to like rewatch them if you miss it. And like I said before, like you're working for the I don't remember all the names now. It's been so fun, but there's like the Rubicon Liberation Front, and there's the Arquebus group, and there's the like Dafeng, who are a subgroup of maybe Arquebus. I don't remember, but and like
Balaam.
Yeah, Balaam and Baus. There's so many like acronyms and groups and whatever, and they're all like fighting against each other or like alongside each other or like literally at war with each other. And they do this really interesting thing where you fight you like at one point you take down the mobile base of operations of the Rubicon Liberation Front. You completely dismantle this foundational piece of infrastructure for their war effort.
Yeah.
And that literal next mission, you are tasked to work with them to help them gain information about sensor data from one of their enemies.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, we just really need to be careful now after the loss of the Strider. And it's like, oh, that was me. I did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
and then they come back and they literally hire you that next round. And it's part of that sort of playing all sides thing that is really cool and unique about just it really sells the setting, you know, because it's not about causes or anything. It's about people are hiring the ACs because that's what you need to do to win wars, is hire hire mercenaries from these companies that have these elite warriors that can win fights on their own.
And like that's also just like how life works. Like that's how wars happen all the time. When there's a party that is invading into another country, you know, the US into almost anywhere, right? They always arm a local militia or a mercenaries group. That's what they do. And the moment you stop paying them, they go to whoever is next, and suddenly these people that you have armed now suddenly are completely fighting against the cause that you wanted to, you know, put forward, and can cause intense, like, you know, issues for yourself. Which is like, and it's fascinating that this game doesn't go down the route of everybody's taking everything very personally. Where you're not hiding the fact that you're a merc, and you're probably not even hiding the fact that you just blew up their base. It's just they don't, like, it doesn't fucking matter to them. At this point, they're paying
a lot of the people on the ground care. They're like, oh, you corporate dogs, you just work this for the paycheck. Can't you see we're trying to build something here? But anyone who's in charge of the decisions, it's not about that. It's numbers. It's a numbers game, right?
Which is it's really fascinating. And then you get to those missions where you do decide which one you want to help. Have you done any of those yet? Do you know?
No, because they barely.
Not in chapter 1.
I've only just you only get that second sort of choice faction idea, like push and pull at the end of chapter 1.
There's not many of them. I think there's only like 3 or 4 of those actual moments in the game. So I'm at the end of the game. I'm not going to go into any sort of spoilers, but I want to talk about how I'm at the final level and I'm at the final boss, and currently I can't beat her. Oh, beat them. I don't actually know. They're really, really fucking difficult, and I can't tell you how difficult it was for me to make that final decision prior to the final fight. That was
wow.
Actually the
you were
thing
invested.
I was sitting there and like I saw the decision come up and I was like, oh no. Which one? But I've been so but this one is and I sat there. I had fucking decision paralysis. I sat there for like 10 minutes.
Well, but you were also deliberating. Like you were also thinking through it. You were thinking. You were deciding.
Like, how much do I trust this person? This person's been around for quite a while. But what if they've been lying to me? What if this person is actually correct? I want the right decision at this point. And I didn't know which one to do. And I just kind of like, I just chose one and I went, oh, I feel like I've made a mistake, but I don't know. And then
that's amazing.
And then like like you'll love this. The final mission it's just a fight. There's no lead up to it. There's no boss run. It's just into the fight. And I keep giving it like 10 goes and like, okay, I'm backing out. I'm going to go back to the store, buy a bunch of different parts, try to build
you're going to replay some missions, get some credits.
Which is great because then when you go back into that mission again, you just like skip cutscene. I mean, like it's almost instant, which is fucking great.
And you've got this brand new mech that you're not used to yet. And you're like, fuck.
Yeah, the shortest boss run in any FromSoft game. But like I sat there for like a good long while being like, I'm actually stuck. I don't know which side. And then I got it in my head a little bit. I'm like, if I was really in this decision, in this decision, I would hate this moment so much. This is really hard for me to choose. That they pull that story around in a way from the end of chapter 3 onwards, which is like really quite stunning.
Right.
Chapter 4 and 5 are really, really incredible with like the direction they go. Where they maneuver all of the different players into these really fascinating positions. So fucking cool.
Does it become easier to like track like the different people and the different corps and like...
So like...
because I felt I was doing okay, but I was still struggling, even though I was making a concerted effort to try and keep everything like in hand.
Yeah,
and
like
it was still hard.
Like it gets easier chapter 1, like they not overload you, but they give you about the maximum as they possibly could give you for like giving you information, and
it's all very general.
Yeah. Chapter 2 and a lot of chapter 3 is about not like it's about like giving that flavor, giving all of that context, giving some of that character so that you can actually understand the powers that are around, which allow you to understand where everybody's like efforts are. They don't introduce many new players in chapter 3 onwards, and much fewer in chapter 2. So they give those parties to really breathe and really feel like, okay, here's my cast. We're not introducing a new Avenger in an Avengers movie, right?
Yeah.
Like we've got the people here.
So I think that leads me to the question of like, so you're going to finish it soon. Hopefully, I cross my fingers for you.
Hopefully.
And then, so, you know, you've got branching path options. And also I've heard this game does a bit of like Nier Automata, like you get options for new missions that just aren't available on a first or second playthrough. When you replay it once or twice or 3 times, you get options to that. Plus, you can make different decisions and see the missions that you didn't do when you played it the first time.
Yeah.
Do you expect to go back through this game after finishing it? If yes, why? If not, why? Is it because we're full of games? And like, if you aren't going to go back, when do you think you'll go back?
So like the moment that I made the final decision was the moment I'm like, oh, I got to do New Game Plus.
Wow, right.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I don't have a choice. I just have to do that. I got to see what that other option was. Because I thought about looking it up after I finished 1.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, like I'll load it up on YouTube. You know, like
look it up, right? Yeah.
And I was like, nah, I'll just go through it again. I'll earn that. Is what I decided at that point.
It's interesting, right? Because that first chapter is like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Depending on how long you get stuck, how thorough you are, you could really blitz through it if you want.
Yeah. Chapter 2 and 3 are the longest.
Okay. Looking at time to beat, it's already got a decent number of entries so far. It's already got near 100 entries.
Yeah.
And it's sitting at 15 hours for the main story. Completionist is more than that because it's, you know, another playthrough. Yeah. But yeah, 15 hours for a FromSoft game to complete.
I don't think
it feels great.
I think 15 hours is not quite right. I think it's probably closer to 20 if you're not doing. Cause like I think it's always, look, it's a fucking FromSoft game, so it's like if you know how to do the combat, then like you get through it in like 10 hours. But if you've never played it,
I'm like 5 to 6 hours in from chapter 1.
I'm sitting at like 21 hours or 22 hours or something.
But even still, like that is so approachable.
Totally. Like that is not a complaint at all. I think it's a really good length. I don't think any of them, like there's been like maybe 2 missions that I didn't really vibe with. But like for the most part, they've been like enjoyable to awesome. And even the ones that are not super enjoyable, most of them aren't that long. You can sort of smash out a mission in 20 minutes. And then you could like, because it's missions, like you're done. Like you just back at that menu again.
And also they've got the really awesome additions of, you know, if you fail, number one, there's checkpoints.
Yeah.
2, you can go straight into the garage and change up your mech however you want with any piece of equipment that you currently own.
Yeah.
And then reload straight back into that checkpoint as soon as it's ready.
Yeah.
And that is so convenient.
And there are supplies around as well. Like every now and again, there'll be like a supply drop, which you can like access to. It'll just refresh your health and your heals.
Yeah.
Which is
great.
Yeah, which is really cool. And usually those are just before like a tough boss.
Do you know if those cost you more? Because every time you finish a level, you get however many credits you've been rewarded, but there's also expenses, which is like how much munitions cost and repair costs.
Yeah.
Do you know if using a supply cache costs you more?
I have no idea. I never once
Yeah.
paid. Like, look, the thing is, like halfway through
You
chapter,
just kind of see it as like, what was I ever going to do about it?
well, like that, but also like halfway through chapter 3, you get more money than you can spend. Like I'm sitting at like a few million at the moment, and I'm looking at all the weapons and all the armor that's there, and I'm like, I actually don't want this.
I'm glad it gets to that point because I feel so much in chapter 1 like I have to be quite picky with what I want. Now you can sell things and buy them back at the same price, so like really you're not too hamstrung.
Yeah.
But if I want an arsenal of different choices at my disposal, I have to choose.
Yeah.
I have to decide what that limited arsenal is from the options they've given me.
Yeah, that doesn't last the whole game.
That's good.
And it's not just me. Like,
because I want to be able to fuck around.
I've seen people online as well, and they're like, yeah, like I've got like 4 million in the bank, and I'm just like, I've got my build.
Yeah.
After a while, you stop buying stuff because you sort of have enough variety that you can see what works.
Yeah. Or you see the new ones that come on offer, and you're like, eh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to touch on. Pardon?
You want to talk about him?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Oh, okay.
We're 40 minutes in. Should we go to a break or should we go through this quickly?
I think let's just get through it. I think we'll make it.
So I want to talk about just the combat in general, because we've kind of skimmed around it this whole time. But the way you play this game is really fun and fascinating, and it's such a good power fantasy. There are a bunch of mech games, and I probably saw footage for Armored Core 3 and 4 and of 4 and 5 and 4 Answer and whatever was in there. The PS3 ones back in the PS3 days, but I remember seeing stuff for that. Maybe a Mech Warrior game was in there. Hawken was a mech game around that time. I remember seeing those, and Titanfall.
Starhawk. Remember Starhawk?
I don't remember Starhawk.
No one remembers Starhawk.
That's probably for the best.
Starhawk was cool.
Okay, sorry. I mean, I always liked the idea of these mech games. And then I saw footage and I was like, I can't see what's going on. This looks really slow. This looks really hard to control. I don't really get it. I don't think I want to play this. Like, I would want a mech game, but the mech games that were coming out were like mech simulators. This feels like such a good push and pull between that realistic, quote unquote, mech sci-fi world where it's in this heavy industrial setting, and it's all about the sort of the militaristic munitions and how they attach to your body and the different styles of all of that, like that kind of hardware fantasy, plus the sort of dystopian corporate hellscape future setting. But also it's just a complete power trip.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they really let you just strap a gigantic energy blade to your wrist, and you can just press the sword button and your guy will lock onto an enemy and just zoom towards them and go, and then they explode and there's fire and you're getting shot and you dodge. Like, it's incredible.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's just like in the first hour when you don't know what the hell you're doing.
One of the very first bosses is like a very big plane that shows up.
Yeah, that like had that like armored helicopter, right?
Yeah. And I remember like
pain.
I was like shooting that thing and being like, this, like, I don't feel like I'm doing it right. And like I died.
How much did you die at that? Because that's the first mission.
Yeah, I died twice. Because I died once and then I just went back in. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give it a go. And then I died a second time and it gave me a tooltip.
Yeah.
And the
tool is what, get off the ground so the explosions can't hit you as easily.
It wasn't that for me. What it was for me, it was a quick like repeating video of an example of how to beat this guy, which was just another Armored Core wailing on the plane with his sword.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't consider that. And I then flew up and I hit it with my fucking sword and it like did like a ton of the like I don't know what they call it, but I just call it.
I think it's ECS is with their energy meter.
Right. I just call it posture because that's what it is in Dark Souls.
I mean, I always call that meter stagger.
Yeah.
I always call that a stagger meter.
Yeah, which is funny because it's a helicopter. But like, yeah, like I broke the posture of this helicopter really quick with the sword, and I went, oh, I gotta stay in the air. This is not it. Like I'm not grounded.
Yeah.
Like it is the air is not just for traversal, it is also for combat.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was when the game almost instantly clicked. I was like, oh fuck, yeah, like I am here to blow stuff up.
Yeah. You see, I don't think I really had that moment while I was playing. I've been watching a few people's attempts of a certain boss that we'll get to in a second. And yeah, like watching Vardy talk about playing the first chapter and he was trying to do it without getting hit in any of the levels. He didn't do the last mission. And yeah, just looking at it, and more it did become clear to me of like, you can just really lean in and go hard. And like I was playing it a bit like dodge happy, I guess, like sort of like trying not to get hit, trying to be maneuverable. But maybe I should be leaning harder into being just a fucking annihilation machine. Just an absolute harbinger of doom. You know what I mean?
Well, let's talk about that boss then, because this fits very neatly into what happened with me, which was after that plane mission, I then got some more missiles, got a better gun, and I went back into my like, okay, like let's get some big
fell
guns.
into a groove.
Yeah, I fell into a groove where I was like dashing around and I was sort of like side dashing. I was like, oh, pew, 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 with two guns, and then like missile, like pew, 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 and I was sort of just sliding around like I was on ice skates all the time with the boost, and it's so cool. And I did that for the entire first chapter and had a fucking blast. It was great. Yeah. And then we got to the final boss and he rinsed me.
And let's just, and we need to point out as well, there's a mid-boss immediately before this boss who was also really hard.
Oh no, this one I got. Like that one I was happily rinsing still with just with my guns. Just bang, 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 bang. Like I was on a high. Yeah. And then this fucking guy shows up. What's his name? I keep getting his name. Balteus. He takes me to fucking school.
Yeah.
He's like, you can shoot, but like, I am going to absolutely fuck you up. I am going to absolutely decimate you. And so suddenly my build didn't work at all. I had
100%
no ability to get, like, I would get just halfway often. And then he's got more attacks.
And that's that time. And it's like, that's all my health kits. I'm down to like half health, no heals. And now his second phase starts, and he's so strong, and he wipes me in a second if I get caught.
And he's so fast.
Yeah.
And
his range is huge.
His range is so huge.
And he keeps launching 100 missiles at once.
And so you know what I did, Kerry? I put the sword back on.
Nice. I never went back to the sword because for some reason, I just disregarded it. And I've been looking at footage. I've been looking at footage of people doing this boss, and so many of these successful attempts are people using the sword, and I'm like, this is incredible. It looks amazing.
Like, because I thought about it in like a zoomed out view. I'm like, okay, what is fucking me up? And the answer was his range is really strong. And I was like, well, what's the counter to that? Like, I guess it's get in his face. And so I mode switch from being like, make sure you're getting out of the way of the missiles, Jeremy. Make sure you're getting out of the way of these next missiles, Jeremy. Make sure you're getting in the way of this missile, Jeremy, to like
you went from don't get hit to hit him.
Yeah, it was like, actually don't give him a fucking inch. It was get right up in his face, hit him with your sword a bunch of times, absolutely unload on him with all of the missiles that you have available to yourself.
Yeah.
And then the moment he's out of his stagger, stay close to him and then hit him with your sword immediately while you're in the air. And then like the fights were going from like, it was a 5-minute fight where I lost at the end to a victory within 40 seconds or something. It was unreal how quickly it changed. And then, and the lesson wasn't even specifically make sure you stay close to him. The lesson was you got to change it up if it's not working.
Yeah, totally. I think I did have that thought, but I'm making adjustments rather than like I'm making like shifts. So when like I'm using the reverse jointed legs, which give you a tall jump and very strong dashes, like very, very big movement dashes.
Sure.
But it makes you a bit weaker. It makes you stagger easily. You have less health. You're just a bit less defensive. And so this guy's got a big shield on it that takes so much damage to break through when you don't know. Or you can use explosives, do an okay job, or maybe like a charge shot from a linear rifle does okay for like a primary weapon. But something that I'd seen in the shop was the plasma blaster, the little bubble gun. That does plasma damage, and that will fuck him up. So I had to exit the mission. I knew that was sitting in the shop. I was like, I need that. Went to the shop, bought that. That was the part of my kit. I'm like, okay, I've got this now. I can adjust as I need when I get there. Got back there. I've got my bubble gun. Does a great shield damage. I'm breaking him, and I'm just not doing enough damage with what I've got. I've got like maybe like one shoulder pod, maybe a shield even, and like a machine gun or something. And I'm doing nothing to him. And it's just a war of attrition at that point where he just wins through the enough stray missiles. Even if I dodge enough, it's still not enough that I'm safe. I just
you will get hit.
Yeah. And then if I do get to the second phase, it's just over immediately. And so that thought of what can I change? What's wrong here? It wasn't like his range is so strong, because I was feeling like when I got close, he hit me with his shotguns. And I was like, well, fuck you. So then it became to me like, I need to stay agile because I need to be at range. I need to be close. I need to be able to do all of it. I just need to hit harder when I get my chance.
Yeah.
So I keep my plasma gun, and that's just on shield duty. And then I'm like, how can I hit this guy as hard as possible? Again, not thinking about the sword, as hard as possible when I've got my moment, from distance or close. And so left hand gets the biggest bazooka I could hold. Right. My left shoulder, I bought the missile launcher that was just one singular missile that goes really slowly and hits really hard.
Yeah.
So I could just launch like 4 of those, and they were slowly traveling through the air, and they'd get there and go.
Yeah.
And then also that gigantic laser cannon that you can get in that first chapter. And I'm using, which has like no cooldown until you overheat it. And so I break his shield with the plasma gun. I'm just like, guy, die.
Yeah.
And it did finally start to click. And I developed a strategy for that second phase, and it finally got there. I was watching my attempt, because I recorded it when I finished. I was watching my winning attempt compared to some other ones that I've seen. And I'm like, man, the sword makes it so much easier. I can't believe I wasn't using it. And I got hit by by his flame sword attack, or his flamethrower attacks, twice right at the end. It took me down to like 200 health left, and I got hit by like one missile before the end. I was at like 150. When your health starts at 9,000, I was on a tickle away.
Yeah.
And I somehow eke it out. And it was not that moment. It was not a 5-minute losing fights to 40-second win. It was 5-minute losing fights, and all of a sudden I had one 5-minute win.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I just barely eked it out. I felt good though.
Yeah, it still feels good. Like I've had a bunch of those where like I've kind of just like, stomped my feet a little bit. Like, I don't want to change my build. I'm gonna suffer through this fight.
I know I can make this work. It's just maybe it would be easier, but I don't want to change.
Yeah, and like I had one of those last night where I won. It was like just like an arena fight. But I was stuck on it. I was really stuck on it for quite a while. And I ended up winning with 14 health. Which is fucked. I was like looking at that.
Minuscule.
And like when you beat the enemy and it goes into like the slow-mo and like the camera, like the camera focus is on the explosion, but it keeps you in the frame, and no matter what direction, it'll keep both of you in. And I remember like like 14 health after like 12,000 or whatever. It was ridiculous.
Yep.
Yeah, it was tough, that one. Like also, that fight specifically, the enemy AC had one of those slow missiles, but it had like it's maybe the one that the missile is the slowest and lasts the longest. And so we were just like spinning around each other while there's just a missile chasing me for like over a minute.
Yeah.
Waiting for me to stop.
Waiting for you to forget about it.
Yeah.
It was really good. They reward you really well after that fight with one of the most incredible like moments of, because you're in a coral surge.
Yeah.
And the sky lights up on fire, and I can just show it on screen, like with my phone camera.
Yeah.
With my phone on the camera, like you're met with this screen, but in motion. It's absolutely outrageous. It looks incredible.
Yeah.
Just completely otherworldly. It's such a good reward. And my heart was really thumping because I was playing it earlier in the day and it was fine. And I was playing it again that night. And by the time the nighttime came around, my heart was going in that fight. I think I was like not breathing properly.
There's a few times where the world of this game will like do a magic trick in front of me and be like, oh, this is not what I expected just below this rock to be, where like suddenly there is like, you know, the fucking well moment in Elden Ring when you go down the well for the first time. It's like, what if they just kept on doing that? And every time it rules. They've done it so many times. Yeah. And I
really like the setting.
They do it one time at the end, which is like, oh, fuck. And it is so cool.
I'm very excited to play more. It's tricky. I don't know if I'll get to a second playthrough when I beat it. Maybe I will, but we've got so much coming. I need to get to Baldur's Gate. I returned to Zelda last night for the first time in a while. I played for like 3 straight hours last night. I did 2 shrines. I found 1 fairy. And like, that's all of the like trackable achievements I can tell you about. And it was awesome. And I'm like, man, if the rest of the game takes me this long, I will be done in fucking 2026.
Yeah. So I'm going to show my guy.
Yeah. I'll get my screenshot too. So explain your ethos though. You got a whole backstory.
I loaded up the game and I was like, what am I going to make my mech? I don't always know how I want to design myself in games often. And so I usually kind of pick a character, or I will pick a few elements of a few different characters and sort of put them together and create something I want to role play in usually. I went back to some of the basics this time. Here is Buzz Lightyear, Star Command. I've changed the color on the head to be as close as I can to Buzz and the purple jumpsuit he's got.
Oh, he's a bulky lad.
He is. He's got the.
I love those circles on the core piece too. Yeah. They look like his flight button.
Yeah. I picked that one specifically because it looks like he's got the big red button that you hit when you want his wings to come out.
The most genius thing about Toy Story is that like
they're actual toys.
You could just make toys.
Yeah, right.
That were really cool.
Yeah. He's got the green on the bottom of his feet, like he does. He's got green on the tips of his fingers, like he does in the movie. But also, there's something funny about seeing like guns in like Buzz Lightyear colors.
Yeah, like Nerf guns.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I haven't colored any of my guns in because I didn't really. Because it didn't really seem to suit. I was like, oh yeah, no, just like gunmetal gray.
Yeah, like I had that for quite a while. Here's another screenshot of what it looks like in the menu, which is really cool. And one more from a different perspective of the menu. Just seeing that big mecha Buzz.
Yep, he's so bulky. I love it.
So bulky.
I've got with mine, I made mine like kind of like dark olive green to start with, and I had like kind of tarnished too, because when you land, you're really beat up and like you don't have much money and all of that. And then I made it really colorful. So I've got this neon green. I'm trying to get the color right. It's not really showing properly here, but it's like neon green, neon blue, white highlights. Just across the whole board, and I've made it like pretty shiny. More recently too, but yeah, with much more lightweight. Like in comparison, it's really fun. I do want to try. I really want to try the quadruped and the tank bases. But they're so expensive. Like I have to sell stuff to get them.
Yeah, like you will get enough that you can try out anything you want at some point.
Yeah. But I look forward to that because like the reverse joint's cool, but like I feel so squishy.
The fact that there's like quadruped and like just bottom half of a tank base is so funny.
It is. It's not new for the series. I
No,
don't think,
no, it's
but
not.
It works really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game's really good.
It is such a cool fucking game.
Yeah, it is. And that strike of color with all the coral that you see, the surges, but also just the dust environments, and then the cold winter environments, and then the environments where that it's just facilities. Like, a lot of it is kind of cold, but there is a lot of variety in that. And they do a lot of these scenes. We have to talk about how good the sense of scale is.
Yeah.
Like when you're in some of these areas, you're walking around, and instead of like in like Last of Us, you knock over like a stone wall or something. The version of that in this game is like piles of shipping containers. You just walk through them because they are like nothing to you. They do no damage. They are kindling. They are twigs.
Road signs and like
cars,
street lights being up to your knees. Like they are like the world is at scale for what you are, which is like a mechanized monstrosity.
Yeah, you're fucking like 8 stories tall.
Yeah.
Impervious to everything in your path, except something else that is 5 to 12 stories tall in front of you.
Yeah.
Like your main paths, when they give you a path, more often than not, it's like an entire highway.
Yeah.
like a 6-lane both ways highway.
Yeah. Like there's like the equivalent of like a Golden Gate bridge that exists in one of the levels, and it is like a footbridge for you.
Yep.
Yeah, it is so cool. And then you see the scale of some of the mining equipment that they have going on, and it is like impossibly large. But like on the world, there is one moment in chapter 3 which is so fucking cool, and I won't say what you're doing in this level, but you are like in a quite a big space fighting an enemy, and the enemy is like requires additional help from external forces. And so basically what you're doing is like there's another gun, like let's say like you can't see it. It is very far away, but it is huge. Okay. It is
it's like an installation. It's
and when you do a thing to make the gun able to fire, the gun, like it's like a railgun, it's got to charge up and go like, and it goes, pew. You can't see the gun because it is too far away for eyes to see. Like it is impossibly far away. But through the clouds and through the mist, you see light start to just build up.
Oh, and so you see the effect of the shot.
Yeah, and so you see like the gun charging, and like the horizon starts to glow in that really centralized area. And then this bullet just comes out of nowhere directly through where that like glow originates. And it goes directly into the thing that you are fighting. And it is like one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. And like there are characters there they're doing like corny 80s action movie one-liners. It is so fucking sick.
Yep. Yeah, I kind of can't wait to get back to it.
Yeah.
It's amazing how such a depressing world can be so vibrant and so cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it's interesting because it's so like it is so dystopian, like this world has been ravaged. This is just one planet where corporations fight. There are plenty of others on it, It's not like Earth fell. It's like humanity spread to the stars and just started doing awful shit everywhere. And like you could just give up on everyone being nice anywhere and just feed into the guns and the missiles and the lasers and the explosions.
And at no point in this game are you fixing the world. Like there is no like we're gonna take out this team and then take out the rest of them in the galaxy. Like that is never going to happen. There is no world where you come out on top forever.
Yeah. You don't save Rubicon.
No. Yeah. And like, you don't even like, yeah, you don't, that's not that story. The world is not built for that. It's too far gone.
Yeah.
I had a thing that I said that I wanted to bring up just before we wrap it up. If you've got anything else,
I think that's good. Oh, the music in the Balteus fight! I heard it so many times, and then when I was done, I looked it up, and I've been listening to it all week. It's fantastic.
The whole game soundtrack, honestly, is really good.
I'm gonna look it up and post it in chat.
Yeah.
I have it here already because it's been sitting here waiting for me. Contact with you. It's called.
What I noticed, Kerry, while playing this game, which you will laugh at, and maybe rethink a little bit.
I like laughing.
This game has the same structure, or rather, this game shares a structure with Ratchet Gladiator.
Oh, yeah, mission based. Sometimes the same environments, but you're going the other way this time, or it's from where you left off that time and you keep going from there. Huh.
And Ratchet Gladiator's control scheme changed between three.
Because the D-pad became like control your mech buddies.
Yeah.
Not that you use the D-pad for much in the main games.
But like, you know, it's not about like, you know, like, and you've got like these like, not like hover boots, but you've got like, you know, it's a bit more about strafing. It's a bit more about running around and shooting in circles and a lot of different weapons, and they all level up, and it's kind of a Armored Core adjacent.
I love
feeling.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes bizarre sense.
Yes. Yeah. And even that world it's a bit grungier, it's a bit grittier, bit more metal.
A bit more mechanical. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Corporate as well, because it's like a game show dystopian like
Ratchet and Clank's always been quite corporate.
But the whole like you're imbued in it, like you can't get away from it in this one. It's like the whole point of this game is you are imprisoned by this corporation who want to see you fight and make money off of you. Like yeah. No, I like that.
Yeah, funny.
Yeah, that's a great game. People don't think it's great. It's great.
I don't think it's great. It's fine.
I told you how that's probably my most replayed Ratchet game, and my brother's 21st, someone wiped my save.
That's sad.
Had all the weapons up to 99. Had like 99 million bolts.
Yeah. And yeah, it's not a very good game. It's fine.
It's no Ratchet 3.
It's no Ratchet 1, 2, or 3.
It's much better than 1.
One's got flavor. It's got a bit of style.
It's got heart, but like it's nowhere near as fun.
Okay, maybe. I don't love 1 a lot. I think it's good, but it's definitely the first.
Yes, exactly.
Armored Core.
I'll probably talk about it a bit more next week, but yeah. I'll
have finished it by then.
I'm so scared of what we're looking down the barrel of these coming. So it's the 30th of August today as we record this, which means starting tomorrow we have 4 months left of the year.
Yeah.
And I can't. I feel like I'm booked through till December.
Well, like literally, like we are, right? Like I was looking at like and you know everyone is saying this now, but we are also everyone, so we are going to say this. I was looking at like the games that are coming out between now and the end of the year, and it's like obviously Starfield is very soon. There's like Mario Wonder. There's a direct for Mario Wonder that's going to come out tomorrow. And so,
yeah, that's right.
And like, I saw online that like, you know, a whole bunch of games media people happened to be in New York a few days ago. I'm like, I wonder what they're all doing hanging around the Nintendo store in New York, huh?
Wonder.
I wonder.
Mario Wonder.
Yeah. Liza P, Mortal Kombat 1, the new Payday is coming out. There's a new, like the first, like I might play a FIFA game this year because I'm curious about what the first FIFA that isn't FIFA is.
I mean, they previewed it, didn't they? I thought previews went out and they were like, it's just FIFA.
Like, I guess, right? But like, look, maybe it's time I play another FIFA again. It's been 10 years since I played the last one, I think.
Christ. That's a long time.
Maybe I got 15. Maybe I got 15. I don't remember. Assassin's Creed comes out. Detective Pikachu comes out. Spider-Man 2, Avatar game comes out. Cyberpunk expansion. Alan Wake 2 comes out. Ghost Runner 2 comes out.
Detective Pikachu.
City Skylines 2 comes out. WarioWare Move It comes out. The new Like a Dragon comes out. Modern Warfare 3 the day before. There's so many fucking games.
So many. And so many that have come
Forza.
as well, that have been here this year. There are just games I'm writing off. Like, I did it with Baldur's Gate, but it's gotten such a reception I just can't afford to continue to write it off. But like, I won't bother with Forza Motorsport.
Sure.
Personally.
Right. And you know, like, you're not huge onto Forza unless it's Horizon with friends anyway, but like...
Exactly. But like, me playing Forza Horizon was a big thing because I don't normally play driving games, but there's just no room for me to do something like that right now.
Yeah.
Like, there's Starfield, Armored Core, which I want to give its time. There's Legend of Zelda, Cyberpunk, and Baldur's Gate. Even just those few games on their own is like it makes my knees weak, you know? But it's more than that too. You know, the sequel to Insomniac's Spider-Man game. Like, fuck, man. Yeah. It's very cool and very upsetting.
I mean, it's good though.
Yeah.
But
it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is terrifying because, like,
for those of us who might want to do a Game of the Year type discussion,
yeah, perhaps.
Absolutely paralyzing.
Skull and Bones still this year?
No.
But is it still technically this year?
I think their beta is.
Right, okay.
Their open beta that they announced for the song.
Well, no, the closed beta's already happened.
Yeah, but didn't they announce an open beta with the when the people were on stage going yo ho and run? I
don't remember. I walked away while that was happening.
You don't remember? Wow.
Look, I've got my Skull and Bones Keep Cup. I'm good. Hopefully I get another one.
Use that? That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it's good. It's made out of glass. It's good.
Yeah, that sounds great. All right, everyone, we're gonna wrap it up there. I got to return to the fires of Rubicon. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back next week, and we will be talking about Starfield. It will happen.
It will happen.
You cannot stop it from happening.
You can try. You won't succeed.
Will fail.
You will fail.
Yeah, that's next week. It's exciting. That's coming out. New Bethesda game for the first time since 76. Since Fallout 4. Yeah, it's coming out. It's new. It's going to be interesting. We're all going to play it. Until then, though, thank you so much for listening. This has been the MiniMapCast. You can go to minimap.com.au to find all of our content, including all other episodes of this podcast, including our other podcasts, including our written word. You can catch up on when we release an episode by following our socials. That's at MiniMapAU. You can follow us individually in places. Jeremy, where can they follow you everywhere?
At Obi-Wan Jez on every platform under the sun.
You can follow me at KJPalmer_24 on Twitter or X. Or Blue Sky, if you're on Blue Sky, at KJ Palmer. Whatever the rest of it is.
It's just KJ Palmer there.
Yeah, but when your tag isn't that, it's like the name dot bluesky dot app or whatever.
Yeah, but everyone's just .bluesky. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't remember what that is. But also, anyway.
BSKY is what it is.
Ski. Yeah. Just a reminder again, like I mentioned at the start of the show, one of our Patreon exclusive shows we've released for free as a little sampler that is on the YouTube channel, which is our E3 watch along of the 2009 Sony press conference. It is a very fun time as we talk about Bill Tredin. Jack Tredin.
Yeah, Jack.
Who's Bill Who's Bill?
Gates?
Yeah, that's a fun time as we look at like an Uncharted 2 E3 demo, you know, where Evan Wells looks like he's going to shit himself on stage when the demo doesn't crash. Like, it's a good time. I was watching some of it the other day. So if you like that, you can find more of that over on our Patreon. We will be recording more of those in the future. To support us over there, that's patreon.com/minimapau.
I just Googled PlayStation Bill, and the first thing that's come up is a support page for PlayStation. Unauthorized transactions and compromised accounts because of... It's not what I meant, but it's funny.
So yeah, and you get early access to the MiniMapCast, other benefits while helping us out a bunch. Stick around if you're live with us on Twitch. We're gonna do the post show, hang out with you. I see you there, Alex. Looking forward to chatting. And until next week, the
word of the day is ibis.